Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Just letting you know in advance, this is going to be very workshopy. You definitely want to have a pen and a paper. You want to get ready to get into creator mode, because here's my goal. I would love for you to walk away with a blueprint for $1 million lead magnet, right? I know it's a cheesy title. I'll tell you why we called it the $1 Million Lead Magnet Workshop in a minute. But wouldn't it be cool if you walk away with a lead generation strategy that puts another 7 figures worth of business in through your P&L, right? So we want to create an epic scorecard marketing campaign. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to create a scorecard marketing campaign. And I'm going to walk you through how it worked for me. I'm going to walk you through how to create one of these campaigns. And really, I want to deliver as much value as possible in this session. Let me give you the punchline. There's no great big upsell from this workshop. So we're developing some software. And if you like the idea of creating a scorecard marketing campaign, at the end of this workshop, I'm going to give you a 30-day free trial to test it out for yourself. If it works, great, right? You've now got yourself another amazing way to generate some leads. And if it works, you'll pay something like £29 a month to have the software running in the background of your business. If it doesn't work, you can switch it off and it's cost you nothing but a bit of time and a bit of creative energy to explore that. So that's the big punchline. You can relax. There's not going to be some like run to the back of the room and spend $10,000 or anything like that. It's just purely and simply, it's some software. It's a free trial at this point. If you like what you see, you'll end up getting yourself a free trial. Okay, let's get into it. So let's talk about why it's called the $1 Million Lead Magnet. So this is a strategy that I set up about 5 years ago in 2016. So 5-6 years ago. It's hardly changed since we launched it in 2016. This is what we're calling scorecard marketing campaigns. It's always continued to grow year on year. It's simple, but hardly any businesses are doing this compared to podcasts or video channels. Hardly anyone's doing this stuff. It's simple, but no one's doing it. It takes about 2 to 3 hours to set up a decent version of this. It actually takes less than that now. I've got to update that. It's 1 to 2 hours. And then it's insanely cheap to run and to leave it running in the background of your business. So what I'll do is today I'll talk about what is scorecard marketing, why should you care about this, how to create a powerful scorecard marketing concept, how to create engaging questions and categories to score, how to deliver insights straight away, improve your credibility, how to follow up with prospects and make sales, how to promote your scorecard and get more leads following. For someone like Roger Frampton, who's on the call, you got tens of thousands of followers on Instagram. Maybe it's more than that now. This is going to be a great way for you to own your own data, get to know your own people, segment and make product recommendations. So it's perfect for someone who's already got a bit of a following to turn that into a lot more business. So I think if you've already got thousands of followers, or if you've already got a book, or if you've already got a video channel on YouTube, it plugs straight into this as a great strategy for turning it into business. Bit of background. My primary way of making business, of generating business, used to be running big events. So from 2002 right through to 2016, 17, we used to just run big events all the time, almost one a month. Average cost of a venue like that is about £30,000. And then you've got another £30,000 for promotion and staffing, AV, all of those kind of things, printing. So putting on an event like this is like a £30,000 to £60,000 activity. We were doing one of these every single month, right? And they were a great way of promoting the business, because when you're talking to 500 people at a time, you've got a captive audience. And we grew the business very rapidly through this. But the only problem with it is it's very one-sided communication. You don't know a lot about each person in the audience. You really only know what you're going to say from stage, and hopefully it lands with the audience. So in 2015, I was rewriting the book Key Person of Influence, doing a revised edition. In the book, we've got the 5 categories: pitch, publish, product, profile, partnership. So I was rewriting some of those. And then I had this epiphany, and the epiphany was I realized that we've got dozens of ways to tell people about what we do, but hardly any ways for people to tell us about what they do. So I realized that our communication is really one-sided. Beyond that, I realized that I kind of wished I knew who my readers were, right? So when I've got people reading the book, I'm sitting there thinking, gee, I wish I knew that someone was reading the book right now and that who they are, what they do, whether they're looking for something that we can offer. Like, I wish I knew more about my readers. So on page 55, I put in this page and it says the key person of influence quiz. Before you read on, you should take the quiz. It says, what gets measured gets improved. We've devised a measurement tool so you can focus on the areas that need most improvement. Before you read on, take the key person of influence scorecard. It's a set of questions designed to score you in the 5 areas of influence that we're going to describe in the book. It gives you a customized report based on your answers, and the results of the score will give you a starting point for implementation. So if people follow the link, they go along to this page here, the key person of influence scorecard. They start by filling in their name, their details, whereabouts they are in the world. Then it presents them with 40 questions, and they're yes or no questions. So can you clearly articulate your business's big vision without people thinking it's strange? Yes or no? Have you written a blog, an article, or a report in the last month? If somebody Googled your name, would they find that mostly page 1 is positive links featuring you? Right? So it asks a series of questions. There's about 40 questions. You get to the end, gives you what's called an overall score, as well as 5 category scores: pitching, publishing, product, profile, partnership. So then it says, would you like to improve any of your scores? If so, book a time to talk to our team, and it presents you with a Calendly link. So let me show you behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, our weekly average from 2016 to 2021 in the UK, this is our UK average, is 113 people per week filling in the scorecard, 26 of them booking appointments, 16 people booking, attending a presentation. So 26 book, 10 don't show up. And if that's been one of you in the past, don't think I don't know about it. I've got the data. And sales, 4.7 people buy from us, and it works out at just under £20,000 per week. That's every single week from 2016 to 2021. So this has been a 20 grand a week business generator every single week, including Christmas, including New Year's, including holidays, the whole lot. It just doesn't stop. That's our 5-year average right there. We launched the same one in Australia, 30 leads a week or 31 leads a week coming through, 12 people booking appointments, 4.4 showing up. So 8 people out of 12 don't even show up for the appointment. Cheeky Australians, but 2 people buy, which is okay. So that means 21,000 a week coming through the scorecard there. So that shows you a bit behind the scenes. Here's why we get such great sales conversions, because you can see that when people show up, they buy. We've got all the data. So if someone fills this in, we know how they scored overall. We know their category scores. We also know how they answered every single question, and we can start a powerful question. We can start a powerful conversation with them. So if this person, right, if they says, do you give talks and trainings and speeches? And they say, no, let me ask you a question. We asked you whether you give talks and speeches. Why don't you give talks and speeches? And then we start talking, and straight away, we're having a powerful conversation. So it gives us the data to have a powerful conversation. Data is gold when it comes to sales meetings, because the more data you know about someone, the better you can make recommendations, the better you can zone in on pains or frustrations. So if you've got this data, it means that you're going to have great sales conversions. So here's what happened. We deal with entrepreneurs, as you know, and a lot of them started saying, hey, that scorecard thing looks pretty cool. Can I get one of those? So we started in 2018 building them for our clients, where people would say, can I get one? And we would outsource it to So Technology. So Technology would charge £8,000 to £12,000, and that would be a fully done for you bespoke build, built on WordPress, coded from scratch, written from scratch, not in a very platform orientated way, just basically building these out. Here's the cool thing. When people spend £8,000 to £12,000 on one of these, they loved it. They were happy to spend £8,000 to £12,000. Every single business that we built one of these for, they used it every single week. It became a cornerstone of making sales, and they absolutely loved it. The next thing is that when COVID hit, it didn't really impact myself and the other businesses that had scorecards as hard, because we'd already replaced the big events with scorecard marketing. So we dialed back the big events long ago, because a lot of people have said, hey, Dan, you went really quiet with those big events. Well, actually, we don't need the big events anymore. We get hundreds of people coming through, taking the scorecard. We just talk to them directly. We don't have to put on the big show for £30,000. And the same thing happened to these clients as well. They said it was a godsend during the lockdown. So because we got such great feedback in 2020, we decided to set up ScoreApp so that people could build these cheaply and easily. We wanted to make it super cheap, £29 a month to be able to set these up, not £8,000. We wanted to create so easy that people could just select a template. The questions would already be written. You just edit the questions, you edit the landing page, or if you want, you can build from scratch. But for most people, you just want to pick a template that works, upload your logo, upload your own questions, tinker with it a little bit, make it your own, and then you've got yourself a scorecard ready to go. So we've gone and built that so that it's a ready-made marketing campaign designed by marketing experts that can start generating qualified leads in a couple of hours from now. So what is scorecard marketing? People fill in a scorecard to see if they're on track to achieving a goal or a desire that they have. They answer between 10 and 50 questions, and then they see how they scored. They get a report. And it's important to note that the same people who fill in scorecards are exactly the same people who would buy books, watch videos, listen to podcasts. There really is no different. It's high quality content. People who consume any form of high quality content are also the types of people who fill in scorecards. We've had CEOs of publicly listed companies fill in our scorecards. We've had celebrities fill in our scorecards. We've had people with 1 million followers on social media fill in our scorecards. So anyone who likes to consume any form of good quality content is the same sort of people who fill in scorecards. People love filling in scorecards. This goes right back to Cosmo magazine. Remember Cosmo magazine in the 80s? You know, which kind of, party animal are you? All that sort of stuff. Like, people love this stuff, right? It's also in Men's Health magazine. Which Harry Potter character are you? Like, all of that. People love scorecards. So it's the ScoreApp is the software that you would use to build a scorecard campaign. So, it's the same as if you want to set up a spreadsheet, you might use Excel or you might use Google Sheets. Well, ScoreApp is the software that basically the scorecard marketing campaign sits on. But this is a very specific type of software. It's super targeted at just this one thing, which is generating high quality leads. That's all it does. It doesn't do surveys. It's not designed really to replace Typeform. It's not designed to replace Google marketing or Google surveys. It's not a poll. It's a lead generator. It's just simply designed to do that one thing really, really well. It's a sniper rifle, not a shotgun. It's got a very specific focus. It's been designed by marketing experts. Jake Mason headed up Netflix's marketing strategy when they entered Europe. Stephen Oddie has been on the forefront of technology for the last 15 years, especially things that are customer facing. Myself, I'm the laggard of the group, but I've got a little bit of experience in marketing as well. And we generate, people immediately start talking about in their first 30 days, generating hundreds of leads. Question I've got for you, put in the chat. If I got you 100 warm qualified leads, how much revenue would that generate for you? And just give me a ballpark. Would it generate 0 to 500? Would it generate 500 to 5,000? Would it generate 5,000 to 20,000? Would it generate 20,000 plus? What sort of revenue would you expect to see coming in if you had 100 warm leads? Let's have a look in the chat here. 20K plus, 5 to 20K, 20K plus, 20K plus, 20K plus, 20K plus. So here's the 37K. Wow, I like that specific. Andrew Garland, 100 grand plus from 100 leads. I love it. 500K. It's like some sort of art auction that we've got going on here. Adam gets 500K, 75K from Ben, right? Some of you are in, we're all curious to know what Adam does. Fabulous, right? So if you've got warm leads, all of you can make lots of sales. So we now have over 1,200 companies using ScoreApp. We've got authors, celebrities, FTSE 100, Inc. 5000 companies, lots of coaches, accountants, financial planners, all of those sorts of people. So Jay Shetty, he's been using scorecards with us. Lewis Howe's been using scorecards with us. Marissa Peer has been using scorecards with us, and lots and lots of people who advise or coach, like literally hundreds of people. If you're an advisor or a coach, if you help your clients achieve a goal, that's what it's perfect for. Okay, so A little bit of marketing trivia as well. I'm a big believer that the US presidential elections are leading indicators of what the top marketing trends are going to be for the next 5 to 10 years. Obama was the one who led the social media marketing revolution. He was the one who normalized social media marketing. And if you look at the most recent presidential election, both Biden and Trump agreed on one thing, which is that it's really good to ask people to fill in a survey. So Trump was getting people to fill in surveys. Biden was getting people to fill in surveys. Both of them ask people to go and fill in a quiz, fill in a survey, so that they know a lot of information about people and they can talk to people about the things that matter most to them. Okay, let's talk a bit of Marketing 101, because I think it's important to let you know where this fits strategically. So if you've got a great product ecosystem, a great product ecosystem consists of 4 types of products. A gift product, which is something you can give to people for free. There's product for prospects, which is where you can get people to engage with you around a first purchase or a first commitment. There's your core product, which is the main thing you do, the main thing that you sell. And then there's product for clients, which is the upsell or the recurring revenue type product. So where this fits is product for prospects. It's a free product that people can engage with in your business. If you've read the book Oversubscribed, I talk about the idea of the way you get your core business oversubscribed is by having between 10 and 20 people engaging with the product for prospects for every unit of core product that you want. So for example, if you want to sell 10 coaching clients, if you get 100 to 200 people to fill in your scorecard, it will be very easy to get 10 coaching clients because you've got 100 to 200 people filled in the scorecard. So now you've got plenty of people to sell to for your core product. So essentially, that's how we get ourselves oversubscribed, by making sure that we've got that. There's an added benefit with a scorecard. When people fill in a scorecard and then buy from you your core product, it means that they benchmark where they were at the beginning. And later on down the track, when you want to talk to people about a second purchase, you can show them how much you've been able to impact their lives using the scorecard as well. Let's talk a little bit of marketing theory as well around what makes a great product for prospects. The perfect product for prospects is anything that highlights the gap between where people are and where they want to be. People can only pay for value that they can recognize. So people really don't recognize a problem. If people say, hey, I'm totally satisfied, they're not running around shopping for a product. But if people say, actually, I'm not satisfied, I imagine that life would be better over here at point B, I'm currently stuck at point A, right? The more people can connect with that, they can see the gap between the two. That's where people can then say, okay, I want to bridge that gap, right? I'm not happy where I am and I want to be over here. So the human brain is pretty good at tuning out from these scenarios, right? Because it just says, oh, I'll forget about that. And what a scorecard does is it actually wraps numbers around this stuff. It says, for example, let's say you take a sleep scorecard or a sleep quiz, and it gives you a sleep score of 21% out of 100. Your brain says, hey, wait a second, I want to improve my sleep score. I want to get to at least 80%. It starts wanting to engage with the improvement. So once there's a gap in between point A and point B, people are very, very engaged. They feel a sense of tension, and the feeling of tension creates desire. So the more aware people become of challenges and frustrations, the more they want solutions and products to bridge the gap. So the more tension, the more desire, and that's what a scorecard does. Okay, so that's the theory. Let's get into practicality. How do you create a powerful scorecard concept? And then we'll do some questions. Okay, creating a powerful scorecard concept. I'm going to take you through a few scorecard concepts, and I want you to put your answers into the chat so that we can all learn from each other. Okay, so the first one is desires are scorecards. Anything that people desire is a great concept for a scorecard. So for example, the key person of influence scorecard works because people desire to become a key person of influence. It's telling people about the desired outcome. Sustainable weight loss scorecard works because the desired outcome is sustainable weight loss. High performing teams works because the desired outcome is high performing teams. Magnetic brand, professional DJ, good parenting, these are all desired outcomes that people have. In fact, professional DJ went off. You would not believe how many people secretly want to be a professional DJ. Basically everyone fancies themselves as secretly one day becoming a professional DJ. Even you, Daryl, I can see you shaking your head, but I know that was you at Tomorrowland reaching for the lasers. So question, what do your customers want? What do they desire? So in the chat, I want you to give me a indication as what is a desire that your typical customer has. What do you think they want? What do you think they want to achieve? So exit the business scorecard, diversity and inclusion scorecard, getting free from back pain scorecard, weight loss scorecard, building a better brand scorecard, happy employee scorecard, financial freedom scorecard, lead generation scorecard, confidence scorecard. All of these are absolutely spot on. Everyone's got this. I love it. Okay, second type of scorecard. Most of you could just stop there and that would be your concept. Let me run through a few extras. Any existing content that you've got, you can just add a scorecard to it. So I wrote a book called 24 Assets. I added the 24 Assets scorecard to that. So do you have existing content? Like if you've got the book, let me know in the chat, have you written a book? What's the title of the book? If you've written a book, let me know what the book title is. Or if you've got a podcast, let me know what the title is. So for example, Mark LaRousse had something called the Unconventionalist podcast, and we created the Unconventionalist scorecard. Andrew's got 6-Pack at 60 as a book. So that would be the 6-Pack at 60 scorecard. Hacking Your Exit Valuation scorecard. The Unfakeable Code scorecard. Milestones and how to avoid them scorecard. So LNG TV scorecard, right? So you can just take any existing content that people are already engaged with and you're going to add leads to that. Mark LaRousse said, simply put, ScoreApp has been a game changer for the business. It became my #1 lead generation tool in the first 10 days of it going live. He just simply added it to existing content. Okay, next scorecard concept is avoiding pain. So this is pretty simple. Rather than moving towards point B, the outcome, what about if you focus on avoiding point A? So some of you, and in fact, I think Roger already put into the group here, avoiding back pain or removing back pain. So words like avoid, remove, decrease, reduce, all of those, prevention would be a good one. So burnout prevention scorecard, fitness injury prevention scorecard, reduce your risk of divorce scorecard, reduce your cybersecurity risk scorecard, avoid stress scorecard. So in the chat, let me know, what is one thing your customers want to avoid? What do they hope to never have happen again, or they never want it to happen at all? What would be a scorecard for that? Burnout, losing key staff. So just literally, you just avoid losing staff, avoid burnout, avoid public speaking anxiety, avoid becoming immobile, right? Avoid back pain is pretty easy for you as well, or reduce back pain scorecard. Fantastic. 0, 0, 0, 0. Fair enough. Okay, getting technical there. Okay, next scorecard. Are you ready to start scorecard? So this is the are you ready to begin the journey? Are you ready to run a marathon? Are you ready to franchise your business? Are you ready to are you ready to ask for a promotion? Are you ready to quit smoking? These are all are you ready scorecards. So what's the journey that your customers want to begin? If you've got one of those, pop that in there. Are you ready to, get fit? Are you ready to sell your business? Any of those would work really well. Are you ready to take 6-week holidays? Fantastic. Are you ready to become flexible? Fantastic. Oh, that's got my name in it. That's a lot of data right there. My goodness, I better improve my posture or else I'm going to get told off. Okay, the next one is called a this or that scorecard. This or that is giving people a chance to discover whether they are one thing or another thing. So for example, are you a lifestyle or a performance entrepreneur? Are you an introvert or an extrovert? Are you a property person or a shares person? Are you a dog or a cat person? right? So this is a this or that scorecard, totally easy to do as well. Have any of you got a this or that outcome-based one? Like, is anyone here got one that fits with that? Not everyone does, by the way. Not everyone's got a good this or that one, but some of you do have a this or that scorecard. Should you sell or stay? So that's a this or that decision, A versus B decision. Should you use finance or use your own cash? Right, that's a great this or that question. So scorecards can be used for that as well. Seasonal or topical scorecards. So for example, if you're doing a special product launch, you can pre-launch it with a scorecard. This one is awesome. Let's say you're going to launch a piece of software next year, but the software is not ready. Pre-launch it with a scorecard so that people are getting themselves warmed up and ready. Let's say you're going to be running a big event or a workshop. Pre-launch the event or the workshop with a scorecard. So seasonal ones, newsworthy ones, they're also working. Let me show you a couple of these. This one was called, Are You an Entrepreneurship Geek? It was just one because we wanted to see how it would work. It's just a quick topical one with lots of trivia, current of the moment trivia. We did this one called, Are You Playing a Long Game in Business and Life? We did this one because we had a guest speaker in Canada, because our offices are in Toronto, Sydney, and London. We had a guest speaker in Canada who had written a book called The Long Game, and we wanted to have a way of pre-launching the tickets. So we did a scorecard called Are You Playing a Long Game? Answer 10 questions to see if you're on the back foot or missing out on your bigger picture. Playing a long game is about having clear vision, being resilient. So we took some of the content from her book, we put that into a scorecard, we launched the scorecard, and at the end of the scorecard, we gave people an exclusive opportunity to get pre-release tickets. And that worked so well. We sold 176 tickets on the pre-release. So that was great. Here's ones that are not ideal. Don't use technical jargon. Don't use acronyms. Try to avoid using your company brand. You don't want to have a BMW scorecard because it's about you, not them. And you don't want to do something that's a vague process or a vague method. The discover, strategize, implement scorecard. I've seen a few of these. They don't work very well. Okay, so that's the concept. Everyone's already come up with 2 or 3 concepts here. And before we move on to creating questions and categories, any questions that you've got about your concept? I don't want to leave anyone behind. So does anyone have any questions so far about the questions or the categories that you'd put in place? What's the absolute top scorecard you've seen? There's some health and fitness ones that have been extremely off the scale, like body transformation scorecards. We've had people generate like £250,000 off their first promotion for scorecards. Body transformation and health is a really good one. Relationships, dating, relationships, scorecards. I've seen a lot of people going through and doing those ones. Business related, like sales team training scorecards, lots of business coach type scorecards as well. Exactly. Is there anyone on the call? Let me just put it out here. Is anyone here thinking, not quite sure this would work for my business? This seems a little bit far-fetched for my type of business. Just put your hand up if you feel like not quite figuring out how you would use this concept for your business. Just unmute if you can. Yeah, Roger. Oh yeah, question creating. I'm about to do question creating. We're about to do that.
Dan, I've got a question.
Yep.
Does this fit in with the existing website, or is it a standalone on your servers? Then you direct the customers there. And the second question is, would it work for like top-end clients, meaning 100K coaching to £1 million coaching program?
So first question is yes, it sits on our website on ScoreApp because that's where the whole system sits. But in many cases, people don't necessarily need to know that they've kind of left. You can actually keep it as the same URL. Mm-hmm. And also the data is yours and then it feeds back into your CRM system. So you can connect your CRM system. As for the top end, we see a lot of top end scorecards that are designed for diagnosing difficult issues, frustrations, problems. We see CEOs who insist that their team take certain scorecards. We also have really extensive scorecards where people come up with like 100 questions, and that's how they kick off their coaching relationship. So imagine you sign up a coaching client for, high ticket coaching client. They've agreed to a 60, 70,000 pound spend, combination of training and coaching. And then the first thing you do is you say, I'm going to send you 150 questions. You're going to answer all those questions. We're going to get categories and scores. And that is going to allow us to not waste any time and just zero in on the things that need the most attention. That's a great, powerful way to start off with a top end client.
And the last question is, you mentioned that this links to social media, meaning to use the existing followers to bring them there. How does that link up?
Just as simple as, for example, if you have an Instagram account, you would literally just do a story campaign. Have you ever wondered whether you're a cat person or a dog person? Take the quiz and find out. That kind of thing. It's like, it's in the story, it's in the post. You tweet it. I just tweeted one for fun just a minute ago. Are you a lifestyle or a performance entrepreneur? I just tweeted that out. It's basically just a way to go from having anonymous followers on social media to starting to engage with the people who are actually paying attention to you. So you just use your social media account to send people over to take the quiz, take the scorecard.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Okay,
Daniel, can I ask
for it.
A quick question? Yeah, in the property business, there's like a proliferation of property training courses and mentorship. So would something like this work in such a crowded market where there's so much noise?
Joe, what is it? Do you do property training?
Yeah, we do a training program for property investors or people new into property who wants to understand the risk involved and how they could get the best trade.
So here's some fun stuff you could do. Are you ready to start property investing? Is a basic scorecard, 12 questions. Take 12 questions, find out whether you're ready to start. Do you have property investing? Do you have enough property investing knowledge to get started? Answer 20 technical questions to see whether you understand the technical side of property development, right? Do you know how to register with the local council? Do you know how to apply for a license to do X, Y, and Z? Blah, 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 blah. You can literally gauge people's property knowledge to begin with. So there's all sorts of ways that you could create this as a campaign to get people to engage. In a noisy market, as quick as possible, you want to be able to have conversations with people that are relevant, that are on message for them, and that feels like you're taking the time to get to know them and to connect with them. And essentially they go, yep, you know what, we've spoken, we've talked about the things that are most relevant to me. So you're starting to build that relationship.
Right. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you.
My pleasure. Okay, let's get into some question building. Okay, so the next thing you do once you've got a concept is you've got to come up with some questions. So what is on the checklist is essentially kind of like a good way to start thinking about questions. So for example, if I said to you, let's go here. If I said to you, what's on the checklist for sleep, right? Do you get more than 7 hours sleep per night? Does your sleep often get disturbed? Do you wake up still feeling tired? Do you sleep in a room that's cool, quiet, and dark? Do you go to bed at night at a regular time? Do you use computers or phones after 8 p.m.? So there's a good set of questions that kind of check in to see what's the checklist for doing well versus doing badly at that. So that's the first thing you would do. The questions that just don't work, for example, are ones where you're pushing towards a sale. It's too complex to answer off the top of your head, or it can't be answered in a single word. So questions that are open-ended questions. And the best type of questions are simple to answer without checking, answered with a yes or a no, and relates to simple facts that people can answer off the top of their head, right? Did you go to the gym this week? That sort of thing. And it's as simple as that, right? So if we said happy relationship, what would be the checklist for a happy relationship? If you have a fight, can you resolve things easily? Do small arguments turn into big fights? Do you apologize if you do something wrong? Do you have a regular date night? Do you know your partner's love language? Have you got common interests with your partner, right? So we've got some simple questions. People can start answering those. once you get to about 10 to 15 questions, people forget all the questions and they're looking forward to what's the ultimate score. Successful business scorecard. Do you have marketing campaigns that work? Are you happy with your advertising results? Do you have a sales script that your salespeople use? Is your leadership team aligned to a clear goal? Do you hire great people? Are your team motivated to succeed with rewards or bonuses? So these are kind of like those questions that help you to understand whether someone's on track for a successful business or not, right? And this is where you use your knowledge to create your own checklist. So you kind of think about what are some of those questions that you'd want to ask someone in the first meeting, and why not just get those into the scorecard so you can have the first meeting is automated with a scorecard, and then the second meeting is much more powerful. What you can do with these questions is you can break them into categories if you want to. So categories are like the key ingredients. That's where you chunk up some categories. So have a look at this. That last one that I did about business, these top 3 questions here, they relate to sales and marketing, and the bottom 3 questions relate to your team. So there's one category that's sales and marketing and one category that is team development. So what you can actually do with these scorecards is create special categories. So for example, this is what categories look like. If I said good health scorecard, I could break it into diet, exercise, sleep. If I said smooth business, I could do sales, admin, operations, vision. Happy dogs, walks, toys, food, training. Memorable brand, philosophy and identity. Successful musician, production, performance, and payment. Successful parenting, education, experiences, social life, and safety. So it's typically 2 to 7 categories is about, if you're going to go into categories, obviously you need 2. Otherwise, it's just a no category scorecard. And then 7 categories, it's a little bit too many. So 2 to 7, probably 3 or 4 is ideal. My key person of influence scorecard, we had 5 categories, which was pitch, publish, product, profile, partnership. So you kind of want to think about this. Like if you want to choose a big concept, what are like the big hurdles to success? And let's make those hurdles categories. So SaaS business, lead generation, conversion, customer success, confidence, self-talk, self-image recognition, etc. If you've already got a book, you've probably already got categories. You've come up with like a method or something like that, but you don't have to, right? So for example, one of my favorite books is How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I could do a How to Win Friends and Influence People scorecard where I purely and simply go through the chapters. I take 12 things that are messages from that book, and I just go, this is the How to Win Friends and Influence People scorecard. Did you do the thing in chapter 1 blank? Did you do this one? Did you do this one? Did you do this one? And then it gives you a How to Win Friends and Influence People score. So you don't even need categories. You can just have 10 questions, 15 questions that just add up to an overall score. But if you want to, you can have categories as well. Okay, so that's kind of the theory. Should we get in and start having a look at building a scorecard? Actually, I just answer this question. How many questions do you want to come up with? So this is what I believe. If you're dealing with cold traffic, you want to have 1 or 2 categories with 8 to 15 questions. That's it. That's for cold traffic. So Twitter followers, Instagram followers, if you're running ads, right? Just keep it simple. 1 to 2 categories, 8 to 15 questions. That's a good scorecard. If you've got warm people that you've been direct messaging, people that have consumed content, they've listened to a 1-hour podcast, now they want something to do, 3 to 7 categories with 20 to 50 questions. And then finally, if you've got a client, you've already signed them up, you've done the paperwork, you've made the sale, 5 to 10 categories can be fine, with 50 to 100 questions so that you can really zero in on all the different ways you can help them to improve. So let's build a scorecard. Roger, have you got your microphone there?
Yo, yeah.
So can we use you as a guinea pig?
Yeah, let's do it.
Fantastic. Okay, so if we were going to create a scorecard for Roger, so the first thing you do when you log in is you create a scorecard. Now, here's what you could do, Roger. If you want to, you could just go and say, I'm going to use one of these templates. So you could say, discover your well-being performance score. That looks similar to what you do, right? And you could say, okay, that's the template. You can replace any of these photos with your own photos, but it's mostly written. It's already got 12 questions, right? It's already got a landing page designed. So what you would do, Roger, is you would just put your logo up there, right? Your own logo. You'd select your own image if you wanted to drop a new image in there. And then you just edit the questions, right? So that would be super simple way. That would be the cheating way to do it. So you just use one of our nice templates. Let's not do that. Let's start without a template. So we'll call this the free from back pain scorecard. We'll call it, are you ready to be free from back pain? So we'll create that. So I'll go into this little section here. First thing I'm going to do is create some questions. Now, Roger, do you have 2 or 3 categories as to things that help people with their back pain? Like, would you say that there's some categories to this?
I'd say something like, do you have any current injuries? Do you mean something like that?
So part of being free from back pain is like flexibility, exercise, and then part of it's like being injury free. So let's just call one category called injury free, and we'll call another category. We'll call another category. Can
you do like flexibility test? So like, for example, can you touch your toes?
Great. So here's what we'll do. We'll go in and we'll do our questions. So I'm going to add questions. We'll do a yes or no question. And we'll do one which is injury free. So do you have any old injuries from over a year ago that still cause pain, right? So we'll put that one and we'll say no is a good thing, yes is a bad thing. So I'll just reverse that. I'll put here, because it's just to, are you free from injuries? I'll put here, have you had a recent checkup from a doctor or physio? Right, so I'll just put those questions in there. And those are a few questions to get started. And then if we want to add some questions for the next category, so we'll just do some categories for flexibility. So we'll do, can you touch your toes? Without bending your knees. So we'll put that, and yes is a good thing, no is a bad thing. And then we'll do another one here. We'll do flexibility. We'll do, can you do the splits? All right, so there we go. We've got some questions and we can see them organized by category there, injury-free questions. I like to have it nice and balanced. I'll give a third question here. I'll do a sliding scale question. How flexible are you? And I'll just put 1 and we'll put left label, not very, center label, a bit, right label, very flexible. And I'll make it a 1 to 4, 1 to 5. There we go. So now I've got that in there. So now I've got my questions. If I want, Roger, I could add some what's called uncategorized questions that don't relate to those categories. Let me put in here, do you have someone who's treating you currently? Right? And we might even put in here a cheeky question. Would you spend £1,000 to improve your physical health significantly. Right, so now we've just got a cheeky question in there to see if people would spend money or not. Right, it's always nice to know. So that's the questions. That's how simple it is. You just come up with your questions that relate to different categories. Then we can do the landing page. So I'll just start with a little basic template here. And we just start editing it. Take your flexibility to the next level. Answer, I think we had 12 questions, and we'll send you a personalized report. This scorecard's been designed by an expert to show you. I can edit all of that. I can change the name of the buttons. I can change what that data collects. I can change the colors and the logos really easily. So that's all pretty simple. If I want to, I can also add different sections, because I know, Roger, you do lots of video. So I could just put a video in there, right? So I'll just add that section there. So now we've got a video that's there. We've got companies you've worked with, testimonials for Roger. And I might also put in another section and say, actually, we want to do a section with showing content. I want to do something that shows your book. So I'm just going to add this section here, and it'll say, get the book. And I can then put an image of the book there instead of that image, right? And these images, by the way, they're so easy to change. If I just click on the image, oh, there it is. So I just select the file and I just drop something on there, and it'll give it that image. Or I can go to free images. I can go health, and it'll say, okay, let's do that image, or that image, that image, that image, right? So we can just start playing around with the images really, really simply there. Make it your brand very easily. So then the next thing I want to do is I want to save my work. That's what I want to do. And then what I want to do is the results page. So when someone gets the results, they answer the quiz. We want to give them a main results page, and we can showcase the results in a number of different ways. We could do this nice little pie chart, but I'm not a big fan of that one. We could give them a percentage, pie chart, a spider graph. I really like this one, which is the speedometer. So I'm just going to go that one there, and I'm also going to get rid of this one. So we go donut chart. Okay, I want to remove the donut chart. And then I've got this one. I don't want the speed chart there. I want it right at the top. So I'm just going to drag it up to the top. So it's nicely there. So that's what it's going to look like when people get their results. They're going to get a report that says injury-free and flexibility. I want to add some content. So when somebody gets this, I want them to get a special video that tells them what to do next. So I'm just going to add that section and put that video in there. I'm just going to put the YouTube link in there. What else do I want to have in here? I want to have some content. So I'm just going to go content. I want to give them like a nice piece about booking a call. 4 minutes is all you get. Let's go here. Let's go book a call with Roger. And then I'll put in some content about who can do that and why they can do that. But I'm also going to only do this for enable dynamic content. I'm only going to make that the call to action on a low score. So only if they got a low score, I'm just going to have it, because you are at risk, you should call our team. Right? Oops. So I did that. But anyway, you can get the idea. And then I can do medium score. You can visit our site. And then I can do high score. You are awesome. No need to talk to us. All right, so now I can save that. And now I've creating some landing pages pretty quickly. So all of that's changed. What I can also do, Roger, is I can create a PDF report to make sure that people get the report in their email. So very simple. I just add PDF report. It's already got some templates. So I can just do a report that looks like this one. And we just put your photos and your content in there. And then people get a PDF report in their inbox. I can also make sure that they get an email. So I can send them an email that tells them their report, their score, on what date. We can send them a call to action. All of that sort of stuff can be easily done as well. So essentially you get the idea. It's pretty easy to create these. Let's go back to landing pages. I'll go here to the landing page. Let's go and actually have a look at it. So take your flexibility to the next level. My name is Daniel Priestley, dan@test.com. Start the quiz. How flexible are you? Not very. Would you spend? Yes. Have you had a recent checkup? No. Can you do the splits? No. Can you touch your toes? No. Are you free from injuries? Yes. Do you have any old injuries? Yes. Do you have someone who's treating you currently? No. Boom. Okay, I scored a 33% overall. I've got injury-free and flexibility. And this one says, because you're at risk, you should call the team. Sorry, the edit didn't go well, but it's given me that specific content based upon how I answered. So now all of that's happening. Also, it picked up that dan@test.com may not be the real one. So our system automatically says, would you like to change that now that you know that we're going to give you value? So go, yep, dan@realemail.com. All right, so boom, I've updated that successfully. Then Roger can then go into his section here. He can see that he has a lead. All right, so boom, there's the lead. There's the answers to all the questions. There's how I activate, there's my activity on the site. There's the source that I came from. He can test to see which ads are working, which Google ads or Facebook ads are working. So by just adding a code there, a UTR code, you can have that in there. So all of that data is there, nice and simple. He can export that to his CRM system. He can view the results as I saw them, right? So he can go and see what I can see, and away you go. So now he's got all those leads flowing in. Now the cool thing is once you get a few leads coming in, you can go and have a look at some data. You can say, well, how do people answer the questions? So now that I've got lots of people filling in scorecards, it says, oh, look at this, 22% of people would rather read this book than this book, 22% on that one, 11% on that one, right? I can do it actually last 30 days. Let's go all. So it gives me all the nice breakdown of how people are answering questions. So I can start tailoring content. I can have a look at how people's scores were. I can see my question performance, see which questions people abandon, which questions take too long to answer. All of that's nicely designed in there. Super simple. So I hope that gives you an idea as to how easy it is to just go and set up a scorecard. You can make this as simple or as complicated as you like. Many of my scorecards are 12 questions and one category. I've got several scorecards that are three categories with 5 or 6 questions each, so about 20 questions in total. And basically, they're super simple to set up, super easy to launch. Once you've got them set up, you just launch them. Sometimes I'm creating evergreen scorecards that are ones that I'm just intending to leave running for 5 years in a row. Sometimes I'm creating little scorecards just to engage people on social media to signal their interest. And all of it goes into our CRM system pretty easily from there. So how does that all sound? Thumbs up if it looks pretty good. Any questions at the moment?
Yes, Dan. I'm about to go, but I wanted to ask you, for like small businesses, at the moment I'm using MailChimp. Is there like an effective CRM system that you use for the scorecard, and which one would you recommend?
So you can put your data straight into MailChimp. You can put it straight into HubSpot, Infusionsoft. You can put it straight into ActiveCampaign, which is a good one. Anyone on this call, please put down what is your favorite CRM if you're a fan, right? Or even if you're not a fan, put in which one you don't like. So you can say which one you really like so Tony can get that information. But basically, you can integrate the scorecard so that it pushes the data over to whichever CRM system that you've got. Most smaller CRM systems have something called Zapier. Zapier makes it very easy to link up anything that generates data with any CRM system. So Zapier integrates with 2,500 different CRMs. So you can use it that way. But if MailChimp is what you're currently using, that's totally fine as well.
Mm-hmm. And the other part is, you mentioned that, do you recommend using more than one scorecard for different services? Like, for instance, when I do one-to-one coaching, when I have the coaching programs, or when I do my 5 or 10-day training, vital planning.
Perfect scenario.
And they can come together into one CRM, or would you treat them separately?
Perfect scenario is, I know, Tony, you've got several books. Maybe you've got 4 books now, 5 books. How many books have you written?
Yes.
5?
Yeah.
Yeah. So perfect scenario is I would have a scorecard that links to every single book. I'd put a bookmark in each book that tells people how to go and do the scorecard for that book, so that every single person who reads that book does the scorecard and becomes highly likely to become a client. Think about it from their point of view. They've just spent 4 hours reading your book, and now they take the scorecard. They're super pumped to be talking to you. So that would be a perfect scenario. Another perfect scenario is to have a few quick quizzes, quick ones, 10 questions, 12 questions that are topic related. So super specific, just a little topic. Are you a confident public speaker? Take the scorecard. Do you feel that you may have imposter syndrome? Take the scorecard. Would you like to be free from imposter syndrome? Take the scorecard. Do you run powerful meetings with your team? Take the scorecard. So those are just quick little ones. And then perfect scenario, Tony, is that you have one scorecard that is your full pre-coaching scorecard. If I sign up as a coaching client, the first thing that happens is that I answer 150 questions about my life and my business and my everything. It all goes into that one place. Let's say I end up with an overall score of 22%. And then at the end of 6 months of coaching, I'm at 77%. And I'm sitting there going, wow, I just improved I just massively improved my life as a result of this coaching. This is great. I'm going to recommend it. I'm going to refer it. And
the other part I wanted to ask you, I'm pitching at the moment to the US military, a huge contract.
Are you allowed to tell us about this, Tony?
Yeah, I'm not telling the name or anything like that, but it's a huge contract. And I want to specifically pitch to them the problem, which is most military in the world, but this one, it's in the US, their relationship with their spouses, with their families, totally fucked up. So I'm building something like that specifically for people in the military.
So we had one of our clients selling to the NHS, and they wanted to demonstrate how big the problem was. So they got the NHS to agree to mail out 150 people to fill in a scorecard. They then took the data, they brought the data back to the NHS, compiled with one report, and they showed the NHS that this problem is 2 or 3 times bigger than they thought it was, and that it needed to be addressed. So they were able to showcase, out of the 150 people we surveyed, this number of people had a score below 20%. This number of people had this score. So they were able to show how people, you know how I showed you those little circles that show how people answer? They literally cut and paste those images into the report. And then they went back to the NHS and said, here's what the data is showing us. And the NHS immediately said, sign us up. We need to address this. And they signed up to a 1,500 person program. So working with 1,500 people. So the scorecard was used in that situation to give the organization the data that it needed to say, wow, this problem is going to cost us a lot of money unless we address it. So perfect example for what you're talking about there.
Thank you so much.
So next one is, we want to make sure that we're promoting the scorecard, and we want to make sure that we're following up with sales. So let me quickly go into a bit about that. So how to follow up with prospects, make sales, how to promote your scorecard. So the first thing is that you can integrate with your Calendly link, and plenty of people are going to book themselves into an appointment. So just purely and simply sending them the Calendly link to book into your diary is a great thing to do. However, I would say that the vast majority of people, or half the people at least, won't book themselves in. It's worth putting an appointment setter onto this where somebody picks up the phone and follows up with a phone call. And the thing I'd just say is make sure you use the data to follow up, right? So once you're following up with someone, make sure the data is in front of you. Talk to them about the relevant topics. Now, there's a little script that we use called the seesaw technique. The seesaw technique is as soon as you get onto someone on the phone, talk to them about the thing that they scored really well on and talk to them about the thing that they could improve most. So you might say something like this. Hi, Christopher, you took our key person of influence scorecard. You scored 45% overall. Congratulations. Your highest score was for pitching, which was 87%, but your lowest score was for partnership, which was only 26%. Would it be okay if I share with you ways to get a better result? And everyone says yes. The key question is essentially this: would you like to improve your score? And you just pause, and people always say, yeah, I would like to improve my score. And then you can either tee up an appointment. So you can say, what I'll do is I'll send you through our Calendly link, book yourself an appointment. Or you can say, have you got your diary in front of you? Let me book you an appointment. And essentially, or I'll text you 3 times if you just text me back which time works for you. Any of that works really well. You want to book the appointment with people. So it's very simple. Talk about how they scored and then ask the question, would you like to improve the score? If the answer is yes, everyone books into an appointment. So it's a great one to do that. I would encourage you to look into, once you've got a steady stream of leads coming in, I'd look into hiring someone for 2 hours a day, just purely and simply on appointment setting. Okay, next one, how to promote your scorecard. Let me show you the 7 big ways to get people filling in the scorecard. Number 1, make sure that it's featured on your website prominently with a banner. So, when people go to the website, it's got, would you like your fertility score? Take the scorecard, something along those lines, or maybe even a pop-up. So this is a financial planner that has a pop-up, take the financial clarity scorecard, right? So that just pops straight up onto the website. Next one, email signatures. So this is pretty simple. You've all seen these before. Put it down the bottom of your email signature. P.S. Have you taken the key person of influence scorecard? They take the scorecard, get a free copy of the PDF. So that's a nice little email signature. It's on every single email. You'd be amazed at how many emails you send each year. Why not use it as a way to turn into business? People forward those on. It's a great one. The next one, social media profiles. So you can do Instagram, you can do Twitter. I saw this one, Craig. You can't save your way to wealth. You need to invest to be financially free. Take the freedom test now. You'll get your score. And he's got that straight in the heading of his Twitter. He's also got his top tweet pinned, which is an image around his scorecard. Next one, podcasts, videos, and blogs. So if you're going to have a podcast, if you're going to have a video, if you're going to have a blog, any of that sort of stuff, you want to make sure that you just kind of make it link to the scorecard. And books, very similar. So with my books, it's mentioned on page 55, but we also put a bookmark in when we send the book out, and the bookmark says success requires influence. Take the scorecard to find out how you're going. Gabriella Rosa, she's one of our clients. She's here standing on top of 4,000 books, which she gives away for free. And the reason she gives those books away for free is because when you read the book, you go to her website, you fill in the scorecard. And then she's calculated that for every 1,000 books she gives away for free, she generates $1 million worth of business on average now. So she gives away 4,000 books. It brings in $4 million worth of business. Same with this one, Chris Marco Flores. His book here, The Wait Is Over, goes to the Wait Is Over scorecard. On average, he runs an ad campaign to give away the PDF. He gets very cheap leads, and then people fill in the scorecard. He's got it on page 1. Before you start reading this book, please take the scorecard first. Do not read on without taking the scorecard. So really, really clever. And then advertising. So Nick James, many of you will have heard of. He's running a Are You Paid Fairly for Your Expertise scorecard, and he runs ads to that. Financial planners running these great campaigns for their Money Instinct scorecard. This one's a strange one. Are you ready for the bunkie life? This is a company that sells these prefabricated cabins. You put up a cabin in the woods. It takes a full day to 2 days to put up a cabin, and it asks you all these questions to see whether you're ready for the bunkie life. This company said it's so awesome that we had to keep turning it off because they just couldn't make the bunkies fast enough. It's the fastest way that they've ever come up with to sell bunkies. I never even had heard of bunkies, but it's a thing in Canada. What else have we got here? We've got joint ventures and partnerships. So once you know how much it costs to generate leads or to generate business, because it's so easy to track scorecards, all you have to do is, let's say I wanted to do a promotion with an influencer. I say, for every scorecard generated, we'll pay you £5 or £10. Or I might say, for every sale we get, we'll give you 5% or 10%. We can track it through the scorecards, and then we can pay you a commission. So that's a joint venture or partnership. So you got websites, emails, social media, podcasts, videos, blogs, books, advertising, joint ventures, all of that. Great ways. Always really smart to go back over your old stuff and put the link to your scorecard. So this is Jason. He's got 55,000 subscribers. He's got thousands of people watching all of his old content. And what he did is, as soon as he had a scorecard, he went back and he added it to the description of every single video. And that helps him there. So he said, the best thing about ScoreApp for me is the ability to take data and build truly remarkable products based on the problems and pains that come up in the scorecard. It's so much easier to change someone's life when you can see what they want as well as what they need. So really cool quote there from Jason. So let's talk about getting started, and then we'll go into a bit more Q&A. So here's how it works. We'll send you an email with something called the 30 Leads in 30 Days Challenge. It also gives you this special banner that most people don't see, and it basically tracks whether you achieve 30 leads in 30 days. Inside here, you've got access to PDF guides and videos and help and support. And additionally, we've got Lee, Rebecca, and Reggie, who can support you and help you if you get stuck in the next 30 days. At the end of 30 days, if you've achieved 30 leads in 30 days, we give you a prize box. You've got books, you've got courses, you've got some software. All of that comes from our angel investors who are some great people. So you get a 30 leads in 30 days prize box just by hitting the target. We've had people create a simple scorecard, 12 questions, 1 category. They stick it on their Twitter or their LinkedIn. They get their 30 leads, and we unlock the prize box for them straight away. So that's really cool. Here's what happens at the end of 30 days. At the end of 30 days, you've got 29 per month, 89 per month, or 189 per month, depending on how much you want to spend. 29 a month gets you 2 live scorecards and 8 draft scorecards and 100 responses per month. £89 gets you 6 live scorecards, 20 draft scorecards, and 1,000 responses per month. And 189 gets you 15 live scorecards and 3,000 responses per month. So you can choose the one that is best for you, whether it be for most coaches, consultants, it's £29 a month. For bigger businesses, it's going to be more like £89 a month. And if you're going to be managing this on behalf of other people, let's say you're an agency and you want to set scorecards up for some of your clients, then it's $189 a month and you can manage 15 scorecards at once. So there's lots of different ways that you can use that, but you can get started for £29 per month. Great little quote from Glenn. ScoreApp brings high quality leads. High quality leads brings in revenue. Revenue solves all the other problems. So that's a good reason to get on with ScoreApp scorecards. So pretty cool. Let's go into some Q&A and see if anyone's got any questions about what they need to know in order to get started. Anyone want to ask any questions? Feel free to unmute. Feel free to put the question into the chat box. Bex, if you see any questions in the chat, let me know if you can. And we'll go from there. Any questions? Roger, did you have a question? You've just unmuted.
Yeah, I did. Sorry, you said earlier about, how you doing, Dan? You good?
I'm good.
Thank you for that. I'm in. You mentioned earlier about Typeform and the difference, because I had a Typeform on my website because I know this kind of idea, this worked. I got like about 800-900 people in the last month, but that really didn't lead to sales. What I've seen today, this is very different. It's you're actually, and I think all the labeling of the questions in the specific ways. How would you say this is the main part of this which actually generates sales?
Yeah, great point. Really great point. So Typeform is what I would call a genuine survey tool. It's designed to genuinely ask questions and get surveys and get responses and get people filling in that information. But there's a few things that it's not great at. So number one, if I give you all that information on Typeform, it doesn't immediately give me value. Like it doesn't say, Dan, this is where you're on track. This is where you're off track. Here's my recommendations. Here's the customized feedback based upon how you scored. So it kind of feels one-sided. It feels like, Roger, I've just answered 12 of your questions. Now I've got to sit around waiting to see what that all means. So therefore, it's not giving me a PDF report or a kind of, ultimate report. So the thing that people love about this is that they get an immediate result, that it's like straight away, here's your results, here's your PDF, here's your email, here's your landing page, so that you've got that result. The other thing is Typeform is not highlighting the gap. Remember, we talked about the marketing 101 stuff. If I'm filling in the Typeform, it's not saying you scored a 3 out of 10, because the thing that makes people want to buy from you is that they scored a 3 out of 10 and they want it to be a 7 or an 8 out of 10. That's the big thing that makes people feel a sense of discomfort and makes them go, you know what, I want to improve this. I think I could do better than that. And away we go. And then the final thing is just the design element of it. Our scorecards look like products. Typeform looks like, I'm filling in a wizard, but it doesn't kind of look like a product. It doesn't look like, the scorecards are designed to look like part of the book, an extension of the book. That was the origin story of scorecards. So I wanted my scorecard to look like an extension of a book, which means by nature, it has to be designed to look kind of like a product. So all of those little fine-tuning things, they really do add up to a big difference. And the big difference is this is designed as a lead generator to generate hot leads with people who now understand the gap and they want to fill the gap. Typeform was designed as a way to collect some information from people in a very functional way. And I love Typeform. I use Typeform, but I use it for different things.
Okay, and cool. Thank you for that. And then you suggest at the end that they go to a phone call as opposed to a sales page, or you do both?
Depends on how much the value of the sale is. If you've got something that is a do-it-yourself £195 do-it-yourself program, then send them over to the sales page as the recommendation. If you've got something that's £4,000, then most people don't buy that off the page. They want to talk to someone. So get them on the phone talking to someone. So realistically, it just comes down to what are you going to sell next? And if the price point warrants a conversation, send them onto the phone. If the price point is low, we've got some people who sell a pre-product. They do like a pop-up product, a £7 product or a £70 product off the back of the scorecard. That works great. You don't need a phone call for that. And we've got some people who sell $100,000 product off the back of it.
Well, so you sell something quite low ticket and then you build them up to a bigger core offering?
It'll have to depend on your business. I know some people who straight away pick up the phone, talk to someone, and begin the conversation around a £20,000 coaching, consulting, training engagement. And I know other people who do, would you like an immediate solution to this? £60, gets you this, and this. Would you like to know more about that product?
I guess you just split tests, right?
Yep.
Cool. Awesome. Cheers, man. Look forward to it.
Nice one, Roger.
Appreciate it.
Adam.
How are you, Dan?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Very well, thank you. And thank you for this. So sold in, I'm just trying to work out how it works for different businesses we have. I think one of our businesses deals with very large organizations. So consulting work, big stuff, important stuff, fine. Is it more, would you send it more as an e-marketing, as an email first, the scorecard? It's not the kind of thing they'd want to see on social media. So if we personalize it more and tailor it more, they take the survey, they take the scorecard, then it comes back to us, and then we pick up our conversation. So, but have you seen it work?
Adam, just remind us all, with the corporate, what's the type of engagement you'd be offering a corporate?
So we have at that level consulting businesses. So we have investment advisory on the clean energy side, and then we have a executive search business that builds organizations essentially. So
here's one cool thing that I've seen some people doing, which is the first thing they sell to corporate is a £5,000 analysis of the situation. And what they might do is they might say, we send out this scorecard to 100 of your employees. They all fill it in. They answer the questions as honestly as they can. We then compile all of that data, present it back to you, show you what your employees are saying about this particular issue. And that's £5,000, and that will give you a strategy and a plan to address the problem that you've got. Now, the thing with corporates is corporates make decision by committee. There's no one who leads the charge with a corporate decision. So the beauty of a scorecard is it gets everyone on the same page. It makes sure it socializes the decision-making process. It kind of gets everyone to agree on what the problem is, how big the problem is. Right. And corporates love that because it de-risks the decision. They're not shooting from the hip. They're actually going out and saying, oh, wait a second, we do have a problem here. 46% of our employees said so.
So you've already answered my second thing. So I'll move on to my third thing. I mean, where I can see the application is if you can use it for an organization to say, fine, we can identify where your gaps are, where you can improve, but also if you take it slightly broader and say, okay, we're going to do an industry scorecard, the entire industry, 100,000 people, send that out. We compile a report that's your report plus a bit more detailed perhaps, and then you can sell that as a product, as an intelligence product for XYZ. Is that something you've done or you've seen done, and is that possible, and how do you manage?
Yeah, so we've done similar things, but not with 100,000 people. We've done ones where 1,500 people within an industry have taken it, and we've created it. We've seen someone create an industry report with 1,500 respondents. But 100,000, you'd need to talk to us about that first, so that our servers are ready especially if you send it out on one particular day. So we always want to know if you're gonna max it out. We don't want the system cutting you off. So you need to talk to us about that. But realistically, a lot of industry reports can be compiled from as few as like 100 to 300 respondents. You can infer a lot of data about an industry if you get the right 300 people to fill it in. So people are creating industry reports off the back of these. They're also doing press releases. It's really good for being able to create some newsworthy data. Did you know that 76% of people think X, Y, and Z? So there's endless amounts of kind of press release data that you can create off the back of this.
One final thing, if you don't mind, in terms of the data that it comes in terms of data protection, et cetera, it being on your server, then our server, et cetera, are the lawyers going to be happy with it? Let's put it like that.
Yeah, so we periodically have an independent top lawyer look at the system to make sure it's compliant with all of the data laws. And the main thing, here's the main guts of GDPR and all of that. The main guts of it is that you give people easy access to see what it is that's happening with their data. Yeah. You give people easy access to delete the data if they want it to be removed. And people know who to contact in order to do that, and that essentially you're making it easy for people to find out what's the purpose of doing this and all of that sort of stuff. So what we do is we have the purpose of this is for marketing and sales. It's all in when people click on the data link, it actually says your data will be put onto a database for the purpose of marketing and sales. Like, it's all there. And then also you can remove it. You can click on the link and remove yourself from the data as well.
Looks really, really good.
Very cool. I'm glad you like that. Okay, any other questions? Edward, did you have a question?
Yes. Hi, Dan. Thanks very much for this so far. I've really enjoyed it. Just quite a specific question. When someone does the ScoreApp, does it collect their phone number, and then is that how you then conduct the follow-up phone calls?
So you can tell ScoreApp what you want on that lead page. Let me actually show you how to do that so that it's really easy for you at a later date. So when I go into Roger's free from back pain score, I can go in here and I've got lead form. And do I want this to appear before the questions or after the questions? Right. So they can answer the questions and then get to fill in the lead form, or they can fill in the lead form then after that. I can say name, last name, email. Let's add some more stuff here. So I want to have phone, and I'll put its text, and I'll put required field no. So they can enter their phone if they want to, but they don't have to. And then I'll do question type. Are you, how old are you? And I'll do question type drop down, and I'll do under 35 to 60 plus. And yes, we'll put that in there. So now we can put whatever we want on there as a thing. You can also do bespoke privacy statements, or you can do our existing ones.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thanks so much.
Nice. Just quickly while I'm in here, settings. Here's some settings. General setting. What do you want it to be called? Right? You can change that. Do you want to have a special URL? And what do you want the special URL to be? Right? Do you want a custom domain, or do you want a not have a custom domain? Do you want the powered by ScoreApp logo on or off? Do you want this in draft mode, or do you want it to be live? The branding, which logos do you want to have there? Which icons do you want to have there? Which colors and fonts do you want to use? The sharing appearance for social media. Let's say I want to have wellness. So every time it gets shared on social media, I want it to have a special image. So I'm going to pick this one. And I want to have a special thing that says, take the quiz and improve your back. All right, so we're going to do that. And are you suffering from pain? All right, so now I've got that. So on social media, any social media sharing will actually show that as the main things that appear. Notifications, do you want email notifications every time someone fills one in? Integrations, which CRM systems do you want to integrate with? Tracking. Do you want to use a Facebook pixel? Do you want to use Google Analytics? Do you want to use a custom script? Right? So you can actually just start doing all your tracking in there. So this gets really, do you know the vision behind this is we wanted to make becoming a data business as easy as becoming a media business has become. So go back 10 years ago, the idea of becoming a media business was unthinkable. And now it's effortless. It's in your pocket. We want to do the same thing that YouTube and Facebook have done for becoming a media business, for becoming a data business. So we've just tried to make it as simple as possible, as fun as possible to become a data-orientated business. Daryl.
Nice work, buddy. It's come a long way. Got a question around the reports that you produce. Have you got any thoughts on how many variations of reports and how customizable and how long they should be?
Okay, so here's the reports. And I can imagine you using this quite a lot, Daryl, with the reports. You can create PDF reports, especially the PDF, your clients, Daryl, coaching clients, they're going to love printing out their PDF report every 6 months and seeing whether they improved or not, right? So you could do a quarterly report and they actually keep it as a PDF. They can print it if they want to print it. You can create a PDF report. So here's what's cool. You could select this one. And what you can do is use something called dynamic content. So when somebody fills this in, we can actually start giving them the type of content based upon how they scored. So, we can give them all of this and they get their scores, they get the date that they took it, their name, right? All of that's nicely laid out for them. So essentially, you can, if you knew that you wanted to create this as a major product for your business, and you said, you know what, this is going to be a big, like we want to really do this, you probably might spend a day or two really building an excellent report for people, so that they get lots of content, they get beautifully designed, all of that. And it's ready to go with every report. You could make this like a cornerstone deliverable every quarter. And every coaching client, once a quarter, they take the quiz, they see how they've improved, they compare it to last quarter's report. They can actually see all the answers for the report from number one versus number two. Behind the scenes, when you have someone who's taken a report multiple times, next to their name is a little clock. And if you hit that clock, it'll actually show you every single time they've taken it. So it just isolates them down into, they took the report last month, the month before that, the month before that, the month before that. So you can easily, you personally can easily go in and actually see each report as it changes.
Nice. Yeah, I was actually thinking of building something as a free type first seduction report to get people involved. We've already got a process that's sort of complicated for back end. I've probably moved on what I'm doing since we last caught up, so update could be required.
Yep. Yeah, so in which case, if it's for front end, just getting people's interest, I would encourage you 12 questions, 20 questions maybe, a nice report, and the report is written based upon how important it is to solve these problems. What is the payoff, carrot and stick? If you don't solve the problems, here's where it costs you. If you do solve the problems, here's what it benefits you. In fact, Rebecca, who's on our team, she spent a day building her report with custom content, and she went to town on it and all of her images, and she really wrote the content. But now she has an asset that doesn't need to change. 3 years from now, she'll still be using that as a tool within her business.
Cool.
Any other questions?
Signed up, so
nice one.
Anyway.
Very, very good. Okay, is there any more questions that I need to be aware of that are that are pending? If not, let's just finish up with a nice little roundup. So, $1 Million Lead Magnet, as I said, it's hardly changed since 2016. It's always continued to grow leads every year. Simple, but not many businesses are using it. I really want to emphasize this. For the next 12 to 24 months, hardly anyone's doing this. All right. Everyone's got a podcast. Everyone's got a YouTube channel. Everyone's got a blog, but very, 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 very few people have got a scorecard. You know, we've got 1,200 people on the system. That's it. Now, you know, it won't be long. 2 years from now, we'll have 12,000 on the system. So get in and do it while no one's doing it. Be ahead of the game on this. It takes probably, realistically, 1 to 2 hours to get something up and going and live, 2 to 3 hours if you want to kind of customize it and build it out some more. £29 a month to run. It's going to cost you nothing to try this out. If it works, you'll have created a new lead generation asset. If it doesn't work, you'll be able to switch it off and it'll cost you nothing. If you hit 30 leads in 30 days, you'll unlock a treasure chest of bonuses. Going forward, you'll be able to choose to pay $29 a month, $89 a month, or whenever you want. You can just switch it off whenever you want. Final thought, data is the new oil. It's as valuable as oil, right? What do you think it cost Facebook last week when Facebook lights went out for a few hours? Probably cost them millions and millions and millions because, you know, they're the big oil well at the moment. They're the one who owns their own data. Here's the funny thing. Every single advertiser who was advertising with Facebook, if Facebook goes out, that's it. Their advertising channel to market goes out. The companies that own their own data, the companies that have their own ability to generate data, they're fine. They've got their own email lists. They've got their own databases, et cetera, et cetera. They've built that asset. Some people on this call have already built and sold companies. You've already had an exit. Some people help you to get an exit. I promise you, if you have a business that is sitting on a ton of data, rich data with lots and lots of information and insights about your customers, if you want to sell that business, it will sell for a lot more money if you've been able to collect data. So if you're sitting on a database of 10,000 clients who have all filled in a scorecard, you're sitting on a very valuable asset that someone else will pay for on the day that you want to sell that business. So Daryl, you've helped several people sell their businesses. What would a business be? You know, is a business going to be worth a lot more if it's got 10,000 rich data records on there?
Absolutely. If you've got a marketing machine and a proven process that demonstrates that you've got a predictable flow of leads coming into your business, it's one of the things that'll go into my exit ready scorecard.
Perfect. I love it. So data's the new oil. Entrepreneurs are the engine of the economy. We need the engine to have the oil. We've got to get entrepreneurs becoming data businesses. As I said to you, my passion with this is to get entrepreneurs behaving like data businesses as fast as possible because I know how important it is to do so. Thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate you investing some time to look into this. I'll look forward to seeing your scorecards and seeing how you do with it. All the best. Catch you around.